Athletes, welcome back. We're changing it up on you a little bit, and we are starting a how-to series to answer questions or just give you some points of performance on movements that you may have questions about, and you either don't have access to a coach or a gym, or maybe it's too intimidating going to the gym. So we got your back. We want you guys to be interactive with this and give us feedback on movements you would like to see and questions that you have on particular movements. For today, we're gonna be reviewing the air squat, and I have my lovely assistant, Noah, who is gonna come into frame for me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run through a couple quick and dirty tips and tricks on what we can do to get you to a better air squat. So I'm gonna have Noah go ahead and stance out, and we're gonna do a 3/4 view. So I'm gonna have him shift slightly there. He's gonna take his feet and he's gonna put them roughly shoulder width apart. From here, I'm gonna have him go ahead and squat down below parallel and then back up and give us a couple reps, so 2 to 3. When we're talking about parallel, we're looking at getting our hip crease below our kneecap. So if he goes down into the bottom of a squat, if I dropped a marble on the top of his quad here, he's got pretty big quads, but hopefully it would roll back towards his hip. So that's what we're looking with parallel. So go ahead and go up. We hit right below parallel, and that will be a valid rep with standards that you would see in CrossFit. Now, if we have difficulty getting below parallel, what we can do is we can set up an object. So we've got a wall ball right here. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Noah just sit down on that ball for me. So we're making sure that we have an object that can support our body weight in case we lose our balance. And we wanna make sure that the area is clear. So go ahead and stand up, Noah. And then from here, what he's gonna do is he's gonna squat down, make contact with that ball, and go right back up. He's gonna do 3 more reps here. And this is a great way, without the intensity of a workout, to really work on your range of motion and feel what that range of motion needs to be to get below parallel. Now, if this is too difficult for you, we can take this and put it on a plate to elevate that surface and progressively work our way down to a lower height until we get to below parallel. Now, the next thing that we're gonna talk about is that with our next point of performance, we're looking at keeping our knees in a good position. So I'm gonna have Noah assume that 3/4 view again. We're gonna get rid of the med ball. This is no longer here, so don't try to make contact with it. And we're gonna go ahead and squat down and stand. And Noah is pushing his knees out as he goes down. Face the camera for me, Noah. And I want you to go ahead and give us some squats. If you notice, I'm putting my hand here and I'm trying to get him to make contact with this. What we're looking for is we want this knee to track in the same direction that his toes are. So if we find that our knees are starting to dip in, that's telling us we're not staying active and it's potentially putting us in a bad position. Now I'm gonna make it weird for a second. And what I mean by that is that I do have toe socks on, so prepare yourself, all right? When we go into a squat or anything that we're doing, if we're doing a deadlift, if we're doing a snatch, a clean, we want to stay active into that floor. This is not active. If you can see my foot, if I collapse in like this, so this is a lazy foot, non-active foot. You can also see my toes. After that, what I want to think about doing is if I stay active by gripping the floor with my foot, that's gonna create this arch, which also goes upstream and keeps everything in a great position when I go through that squat. If you guys are having difficulty with what that feeling is, take your shoes off, grip the floor with your feet, and try going into a squat. The second thing that we think about doing is with our foot, when we go into that squat, we turn that foot out a little bit. So we think about being on a big screw and we're squeezing and turning to get us in that good position. So I'm gonna have Noah engage his foot the same way. We're gonna grip the floor. He's gonna go down into that squat and stand up and back down and up. Give us one more. Perfect. Now, the next thing that we're gonna take a look at is that keeping our chest in a good position. When we look at where we're keeping our weight in our foot, we're gonna think about keeping it in the midfoot. Now, you've heard about keeping weight in your heels, which works okay if we've got a big group of people that we have to get to move. But if I put all of my weight in my heels, I end up with a squat that ends up looking like this. I wanna keep my foot in contact with the floor across the entirety of my foot. You think of 3 points of contact: my heel, this ball of my foot underneath my pinky, and then the ball of my foot underneath my big toe. By doing that, that's gonna distribute the weight evenly so that I can stay balanced, squatting below parallel, keeping that chest up as much as possible, and then standing. So I'm gonna have Noah go ahead and step back out. I'm gonna cue him to activate those feet, keep himself balanced across his foot, and let's think about dropping those hips between our heels. Go ahead and give us a squat, Noah, and up, and back down, and up. Now, one thing that you're gonna see is Noah has a little bit of a butt wink here. That butt wink is when your lower back rounds out because we've gone to the most bottom of bottom squats. What I'm gonna have him do is focus on pushing those knees out like we did in our cue just a moment ago and see if we can eliminate or reduce that butt wink. Go ahead and squat for me, focus on knees out, good, and back up, and back down, and up. And so you can see that that reduces the amount of butt wink that we had before we were really focusing on that. I'm giving you a lot of information. You guys are gonna go back and watch this and find the cues that work specifically for you. Don't try to think of like the 15,000 things that I'm giving you right now, but if you got an issue with your air squat, we're looking to help get you better with this. The last thing that we're gonna show you is that if you have difficulty with getting below parallel, and you think it's a mobility issue, we're gonna use a trick with a dumbbell and we're gonna go into a goblet squat. So I'm gonna have Noah give us a 3/4 view again. We've got this dumbbell close to our body with our elbows tucked in. From here, he's got a counterbalance now. So if he feels as though he can't get below parallel without falling back, now we've balanced him out so he can find how to load. He's gonna use the same points of performance of knees out and keeping those feet active and squat below parallel. This is a fantastic warm-up piece that you can do before you have a Metcon that's gonna have squatting in it. Think about doing 3 to 4 reps every 30 seconds for 5 minutes, and you're gonna be primed and ready to go for those squats. So we hope that you've enjoyed this quick tutorial on air squats. If you have any questions at all, throw them in the comments below. And if you have any specific movements that you would like to see in this series, throw those in there as well with the specific questions, and we promise we will get to those. Wait. One more thing. With the air squat and almost all of the other movements that we're gonna cover, it's very important that you realize that your body is completely unique. You got longer legs than someone else, you got a shorter torso than someone else, and that means that you're gonna have to find the best way to do the movement for your body. So if your stance meets the points of performance that we talked about keeping your chest up, keeping your knees out, but you're turned out a little bit more in your feet, or you've got your feet a little bit wider and it feels comfortable for you, that's completely fine. Don't try to copy somebody else's form because that's their body, it's not yours. So do what works well for you. Remember, be good, be kind. Join us again for another great day of fitness.